Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 bad parts that ruined great games.
Like a bug on a winch.
Better hurry.
All because he made one stupid crack about the guy's suit.
For this list, we'll be going over the worst sections or features of otherwise enjoyable games. If there's a game whose absence is the worst part of our list, please let us know in the comments. Now let the ruin begin. Let's go. Number 10, HM's Pokemon franchise. As irritating as it can be to get mobbed by Zubats every time you step in a cave, HMs are even more annoying. Hidden machines or HMs allow Pokemon to learn special moves that affect the game environment, such as removing obstacles in your way. The biggest issue is that, unlike most moves, they can be overwritten the normal way, requiring a special move deleter to get rid of them. Not all of them are good moves either, and if you don't have a Pokemon that can learn the move you need, it's very inconvenient. Thank goodness the developers removed them from the more recent Pokemon titles. Limiting progression through the game doesn't have to mean less fun. Number 9. Motion Control Shrines. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild has been a breath of fresh air for the Zelda franchise, with an open world and a ton of content to experience. Still, with how much there is to do, there were bound to be a few clunky bits. The worst for many players are the shrine challenges involving motion controls. Rather than the simple button presses or puzzles to solve, these shrines require precision puzzle solving with imprecise motions from the controller. While there aren't that many of these shrines, the few there are stick out as some of the most frustrating parts in a game where the weapons break on a dime. Number 8. Ship Graveyard. Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. The Uncharted franchise has some stellar stories and a very fun gameplay, but even this series has its low points. One such instance in its third installment. Several missions see Nathan Drake abducted by pirates and forced to fight his way out of the ship graveyard where they make their operations.
Here we go.
Although Uncharted usually excels at smaller combat sections, large waves of enemies aren't really the franchise's typical style, and this section illustrates why. Players have to endure a hail of long-range bullets and rockets while navigating on and between unstable, half-wrecked boats. A fun adventure, this is not.
Great.
Number 7. Pachinko Stage. Super Mario Sunshine. The second mainline 3D Mario game has had plenty of defenders, but also plenty of complaints levied against it. From its controls to abrupt difficulty spikes, one of the biggest of the latter is the Pachinko game. In this stage, Mario is launched into an enormous version of a pachinko machine and must navigate his flood backpack to collect red coins. What sounds simple is made a nightmare by buggy physics and a lack of much control on the part of the player. Basically, you're gonna fall and die. A lot. So much for a relaxing tropical vacation. Number 6. Mary Jane Watson and Miles Morales stealth missions. Marvel's SpiderMan.
Both of them are. I'm glad they're on our side.
You two, get over here! All right already.
Sometimes a change of pace is just what a game needs for its core gameplay not to feel stale. Spider-Man doesn't have that problem. The main gameplay of the 2018 Spider-Man game is full of freedom, exploring, and beating up bad guys, and that's everything we want from a Spidey title. Unfortunately, this amazingness is often interrupted with sections where the player must play as Mary Jane Watson and Miles Morales.
Like a bug on a windshield.
Better hurry.
All because he made one stupid crack about the guy's suit.
These stealth-oriented sections feel so constrained compared to the freedom you experience as Peter Parker, who can play stealthy or go in with fists and webs flying. Plus, the whole instant fail thing is always irritating. They bring the game to a grinding halt and make us dislike two characters who are great otherwise.
Do it.
Number 5. Blighttown, Dark Souls. Dark Souls is part of a notoriously difficult franchise. It's practically designed to get players to pull their hair out in frustration. But Blighttown, even getting good doesn't make the players hate Blighttown any less. To start with, Blighttown features a vertical descent on platforms that will fall apart at the drop of a feather, which you have to navigate while fighting off enemies. Once you get down to the bottom, you're forced to wade through a poisonous swamp, fighting off enemies who will also poison you. Oh, and did we mention the horrendous frame rate drops? Put all this together and you've got a blight on an otherwise great game. Number 4. The Mako, Mass Effect. The original Mass Effect has held up surprisingly well since its release, with its story and combat remaining engaging, but this sci-fi epic falls flat on its face with the sections involving the Mako. While driving the vehicle on the surface of planets could be fun sometimes, the controls were incredibly imprecise. This made parts where you wanted to go a specific direction more of a guessing game than most gamers want. Navigating mountains in particular was a massive headache. Thankfully, the developers clearly listened since the vehicle was absent from the rest of the trilogy.
Looks like nobody's home.
Number 3. Base Building, Fallout 4. Customizable areas of Fallout's retro-apocalyptic world is a really cool idea on paper. Well, in practice, it can be pretty cool too. Some of the creations people have made in Fallout 4 are amazing. But along with the base building, players are sucked into a repetitive gameplay loop of dull quests doled out by no one's favorite Minuteman, Preston Garvey.
I've had some bad news. Super mutants raided a settlement. Maybe you can find out where those bastards are coming from and put a stop to it.
Oh, what's that? Another settlement needs our help? I never would have guessed. One has to question the value of building and maintaining these settlements if bandits are just going to attack them every 5 minutes.
But you just killed everyone. There wasn't any other way?
Number 2. Tank Missions, Batman Arkham Knight.
This ain't Batman's turn no more. You better get used to it.
The Batmobile is a tank? That's awesome. We all said at first. Clearly, the developers thought so too, because they really went all in on it. What should have been a fun feature is instead a requirement. The Batmobile is necessary for a lot of puzzles and progression in the game. Then there are the numerous copy and paste missions of tank-to-tank combat. And sure, it's fun the first time. But after half a dozen times over the course of the game, a lot of us were hoping that the Batmobile would lose a wheel so we wouldn't have to use it anymore.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Water Temple, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Ugh, water levels suck. And wouldn't you know it, the most infamous of them all also appears in one of the most beloved games of all time. The Water Temple features two major features that make it an absolute chore: the iron boots and the need to raise and lower the water levels. The iron boots allow Link to walk underwater, but switching to them has to be done on the menu. Combined with the frequent need to change the water levels in the temple, this can also lead to lots of confusion about where you are and where you need to go. The 3DS remake made it a little easier, but those of us who played the original without a guide were traumatized for life.
In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on Mojo Plays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.